Your boy is back. It's feeling better. I've beaten the sickness like I beat my meat. Anyways, now that I'm back, operating at pretty much full strength, we have a new Nintendo Switch 2 story to talk about. A new report from an unlikely source. And look, people, I understand. We're 8 days into the year. I'm already getting tired of this, but people are not tired of this. People keep watching videos, commenting on videos about this stuff, and I'm a man of the people. So of course I'm going to talk about this stuff if, people are interested in it. So if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Shout outs to Spawnwave, stupid Spawnwave. He sent this in a group chat that I'm in with him, and I said, hey pal, there's my video for today. Yoink, yoink. But yeah, we have CNBC chiming in on the situation. And when CNBC are these bigger websites, these bigger publications, the ones that usually talk about business, money, technology, and stuff like that, once they start chiming in, things get a little bit more interesting. Because are you going to call them clickbait artists? Like, I mean, I guess you could when you look at mainstream media coverage of stuff. But usually the business stuff is a bit more controlled. But this story does actually show an instance of video game journalism and reporting and stuff that I don't really care for. But Nintendo is expected to launch the Switch 2 console this year. Here's what to expect. This was published on January 7th, has since been updated on January 8th at 5:34 a.m. Eastern time. I hope you're in England or something, because I'm not awake at 5:30. I'm just going to bed then, Mr. Arjun Carpal. Hope he doesn't have carpal tunnel. Some bullet points here, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, though, of this. Nintendo is likely to release a Switch console this year, analysts told CNBC, as the Japanese gaming giant looks to capitalize on the interest in its characters ranging from Mario to Zelda. Launched in March of 2017, 133 million sold, blah, 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 stuff we already know about. But then here's where things get fun. Because RGT says something like this. Oh, hey, Switch sales are a bit down. Maybe it's time to look at something else. Oh, he's anti-Nintendo. He's a clickbaiter. He's a liar. And then CNBC says it and nobody cares. But there are signs that the sales are starting to slow and Nintendo needs something new. In its September quarter results, Nintendo said revenue fell 4% year-on-year and profit dropped 19%. Nintendo is a business, folks. They're not here to make you smile, to make you feel good about yourself, to be your friend. They are here to make money. And when sales of something are decreasing and their main source of revenue, which happens to be the Nintendo Switch, is starting to trail off a little bit, you start to look at the future. It's okay to move on from a system. If that wasn't the case, we would all still be playing NES stuff. Like, did people have this sort of, no, we don't need a Super Nintendo. I'm happy with my Nintendo Entertainment System. And then the Super Nintendo comes out and it's like a million times better. Did people have these conversations? Some of y'all are freaking weirdos. Absolute weirdos who don't want technology to advance and get new hardware. But then we get into the part where I have a little bit of a problem here. Because it's the usual suspects that are the CNBC sources, okay? I think the new device will come out in 2024, probably in the second half of the year. Dr. Serkan Toto, CEO of Tokyo-based games consultancy Catan Games, told CNBC. The original Switch is almost 7 years old. Sales are going down, so it's absolutely high time for a new Nintendo console. Piers Harding-Rolls, research director of games at Ampere Analysis, expects the launch of the new Switch in the fourth quarter of this year. For Atun Goyal, managing director at Jefferies. What is Jefferies? The timing of this launch will depend on recent sales. If Nintendo Switch remain popular in the holiday quarter, then Nintendo could push the console out to fall of this year, Goyal said. If Switch sales dropped in December, the new device would come as early as spring, he added. So then we get into the what do we know about the system? And then you have these people, Harding's roles. I'm expecting Nintendo's next console to be a Switch follow-up as a hybrid approach has been successful. There's likely to be an upgrade in the capabilities and controllers, a new device, and not just an upgrade. Nintendo needs to drastically improve the specs after 7 years. And then, like, we get into the iPhone stuff with this. But here's my problem. All right, here's my problem with this article. All right, let's scroll back up here. Director of Games at Ampere Analysis, Catan Games, Games Consultancy. Atul Joel, managing director at Jeffries. Who are these people? Like, let's bring it in here. Let's bring it in here. Who are these people? Can I become a games consulting manager after my YouTube tenure, or can I do it to coincide with my YouTube tenure? Because I feel like I tend to follow this stuff, and lots of other people, lots of other talented individuals tend to follow this stuff quite closely. Probably a little bit closer than Ampere Analysis. Probably a little bit closer than Jeffries. Okay? So how do you get this job? That's my question. I sit here and look at crap all day. Tons of stuff that I don't even make videos on. It's just stored in data banks here. Can I get a job? Like, are these people making money doing this? Is somebody sitting there looking and saying, huh, Nintendo Switch sales are down. Well, the system is 7 years old. You know what? It's probably time for a new system. I bet it comes out this year. And then somebody pays them for that analysis. Somebody pays them for that opinion on something. Like, holy shit, that's got to be the easiest job in the world. People think YouTube is an easy job. You're just looking at the most common denominator of a situation and then running with that common denominator. And then if it's wrong, be like, oh, plans change. Like, I don't understand how this is a job. I don't understand how people make money doing this sort of stuff. But I do find it interesting that because you have to look at kind of the bigger picture with this. CNBC themselves reached out to contacts, and all these contacts are pretty much saying the same sort of thing. I remember these contacts from the Switch Pro era. I remember these contacts from the actual Switch, the NX to Switch era, because I've been following this stuff for a very long time. Anyone can make a really safe bet at the end of the day, and if that safe bet becomes true, then all of a sudden you're like a super analyst. I'm not trying to like discredit these people. I'm sure there is some skill, some sort of talent that is involved in this sort of reporting and in this sort of research. I just feel like there's a lot of people that do it that don't claim that they do it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there are people that are not maximizing, and I'm one of those people. There's people that are not maximizing their capabilities of being able to make a claim to a CNBC. CNBC, if you want to reach out to me and ask me my opinion on anything, I will be glad to give it to you. RGT85 Incorporated is here for your video game analysis needs because I study this stuff. I look at it all day. Is the Switch 2 coming in 2024? I mean, probably. More than likely. It says it right here. Profit is down. Even if the Switch had a very successful December, which we kind of already know, according to NPD stuff, that at least the preliminary numbers, that it didn't look all that great for the Switch. Some of the figures out there actually have the Switch in North America as the third selling system. We've seen that during, of course, other NPD sales. Like, this is all common knowledge stuff out there. It's all stuff that everyone knows. But when you see a decline in something, it makes sense to move on from it. And all because you move on from it doesn't discredit or downplay the impact that had. Technology is good, folks. It's good to move on from things and explore new avenues of technology. Does CNBC know something? I mean, probably not. But it is interesting that they're willing to talk about it and reach out to various sources, because that shows you that, you know, once the mainstream starts picking up on things, the people like, you know, I'm not talking about the big video game websites. I'm talking about the big websites in general that don't really do much with video games, much like the Wall Street Journal. Once they start picking up on things, you know, it's worth talking about, in my opinion. It's just how far you let that talk go as far as what you feel. Anyways, guys, I thought this was an interesting story. Maybe you got bored out of your mind halfway through it. If you made it to the end of the video, you're an MVP. Yeah, so let me know what you think of this in the comment section down below. Do you think that there's some sort of inside information here? Do you think it's just speculation? Do you think that this report was pretty much not needed? Which would kind of mean that this video wasn't needed, but hey, if the new report's gonna come out, I mean, I gotta talk about it, right? And as always, guys, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for wishing me well in my sickness. I'm good to go. We're back and at 'em. And as always, I'll catch you guys. Oh, hit the subscribe button if you're new, pal. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.